Tanya O'Callaghan, and you are watching for BassPlayersOnly.com.
Hi everyone, John Liebman here. You're watching for BassPlayersOnly.com. Coming to you today on location from Markneukirchen, Germany, with our good friend Tanya O'Callaghan. How are you, Tanya?
I am very well. Slightly jet lagged, but very well, other than that.
It's great to see you. We did an interview, it wasn't that long ago. It was just under a year, but I thought it was worth getting together again because you have done so much just in not even a year, and I thought it would be worthwhile and interesting for our audience to hear from you straight hand on what you've been doing, what you've been up to. I know you're jet lagged. Aren't you like beyond that? Aren't you used to it with all the touring and traveling? Tell us about what you've been doing.
I'm not sure if jet lag is actually just how I feel in general. It's like, because then when I'm not jet lagged, I'm like, maybe this is jet lag. It's like reversed because I'm constantly traveling.
Well, that's what coffee is for.
Exactly, and I think I like coffee a little too much, to be honest.
You and me both. Where have you been?
Since I last saw you.
And who were you with?
God, it was Bass Player Live, right? Which is November. Since then, actually right after that, I went back to Europe. I had a couple of things on there with some bands I used to play in. And then I went home for Christmas, and I was home for a couple of weeks. And then I got back to LA in January, and the phone just started hopping, and it was wonderful. I was out on the road. I was actually in South Africa, Dubai, doing a bunch of shows and working in like an events corporate thing, which is like helping bands book gigs there and helping bands from there book all odd territories, playing with the bands and then bringing them. So that was like a variation of several different bands for like January, February, March, April, and then I was out of LA the whole time, and then I got back and I got a call from Hollywood Records to start touring with this young pop kind of R&B artist called Jordan Fisher. And we all met in like a rehearsal audition jam situation, and like literally 4 days, if not 3 days later, we were on tour. It's just like we were on the road straight away with him, and it's been really amazing because he's being launched. His new EP is out, and we've just been touring and going around. He's doing a radio tour as well, so I have like this pocket of time off, which worked out perfectly with Bass Player Camp. So it was like, yay, I can make it. So I've been doing that hugely. A couple of local gigs to LA as well, finishing up 2 albums with bands, and I'm just about to start Dee Snider's solo tour as well. So it's like all of the spectrum is going on this year. It's like pop, R&B, soul, and now I'm going on to Dee's like straight up rock and roll, hair metal. So I'm super excited to get started, and that we start next week. So yeah, it's literally been open, and I'm flying from Jordan's tour to Dee's tour, Dee's tour back to Jordan's tour. So it's been pretty crazy. I've been transatlanticing for a couple of months now.
Okay, I hope you can keep all that straight, because that is a lot, and that's so many different kinds of music. It's got to be a lot of fun. And you were really excited also last time we spoke about your exotic bass.
Oh my God!
Tell me about that some more.
Like, I love it. I must be with Exotic now. I guess it's going on about 3 years since I met the guys. Friend of a friend told me about these like kind of custom Japanese bass, and I went
Toshio Hariba.
Oh, Toshio, and
Toshio,
they're all
okay.
they're all, well, that's my pronunciation with my accent, but they're so great in there. Mitch and Kenny and all the guys, they're just like, they're family. Like, it's, it's great. I've been playing that bass for I think nearly 3 years now. I play the Chuck Rainey custom, and it just is like, because I do tour with several different kind of styles and types of bands, and I'm in studio also, it's the most versatile bass I've ever had. I don't have to change. Like when I'm recording or doing Dee's tour, doing Jordan's tour, doing whoever I'm with, it just works for everything, because it's like, it's EQ is just crazy on it, and it's super versatile, and it has the hip shot, and yeah, it's amazing. It just feels great, and I go in every couple of months, and the guys reset it up for me, and it's like, I get to visit the family, and it goes to the doctor, and because I bring it around the world a lot, and it gets battered, and I bring it back for a little doctrine every now and then, and they're awesome, and I haven't put that bass down since I started using it, and really they're the main company I've ever been with. And I've also known Roger Stofsky for years, and I play a few of his, but the Exotic is like
Exotic.
It's exotic, and
Well,
it's special.
When you go on the road and you do all that touring and you go to all those places, do you take just one bass with you?
No, it depends on the tour. Like, most of the time I tour with a 4 and a 5. Even though, like, a majority of the time I play a 4 and I use the hip shot, the Exotic comes absolutely everywhere with me. And I also play one of Roger's 5 strings, beautiful Sadowski. and one of his 4s as well is on the East Coast, kind of the East Coast base. But I go between them. But yeah, the Exotic's been with me since day one. Like I literally think I've brought it on every single tour that I've ever been on since I got it.
And what about amps?
Warwick LWA, the 1,000-watt head, is possibly the biggest lifesaver piece of equipment I've ever had. The 2-channel thing, just at first I didn't the novelty, I was like, wow, it has 2 channels. That'll be handy when I'm jamming with a guitarist and they can plug in. But a couple of months ago I was like on this particular run of dates and I had to have a 4 and a 5, and I had a lot of changeovers. It was like literally I was changing bass every other song. That's what they wanted for the sound. So instead of having to like pull out the jack every time I'm changing bass, I have 2 basses set up all the time and the channel's just muted, so I just put down my 4 and pick up my 5, and there's no waiting for the engineer to mute me or valves to cool down, and no awkward like front of house sound of jacks coming in and out. So that head has just been like a godsend. I love it so much, and I have a couple of different cabs with them that I don't tour with the cabs, but anytime I get to a venue we can just I can ask for Warwick cabs, so I just bring the head with me, and it's been really amazing. And they just brought out the 500 watt as well, which is just ridiculous. It's like
they're powerful and they're small and they're light.
They're just so light, it's hard to believe. Like, I mean, they weigh less than my handbag. It's pretty like when I started off I used to use this giant Gallion Kruger head that I loved, but it would I think I slipped a disc in my back carrying the thing when I was like 19. You have to bend your knees to pick it up. Now I'm just like throwing this thing on my back. It's amazing.
I should mention we happen to be in the world headquarters of Warwick in Markneukirchen, Germany.
Good pronunciation.
Warwick, did I say?
Did you say famous? Right. There
you go.
Markneukirchen.
So, it sounds like a crazy question, but what else have you got going on, Tanya? I know after all this touring is done, you've still got something on the horizon or something else planned or something else in the works, right?
I have just like my entire calendar straight through to almost the middle of next year is touring between both artists. So there's that, and then because I've been away from LA so much the past 6 months, there's a bunch of things I have to finish up with friends. I have a bunch of videos. I have to do some videos with Exotic. So on my downtime per se, I'm going to try and do that and maybe sleep. I'm really looking forward to next year sleeping. Okay. I'm super excited about having a nap.
I'm very happy for you. We talked last time about how you got into the music scene and from the UK and how you went to LA and
Ireland,
how it...
Not the UK.
Oh.
We're very proud in the Republic of Ireland.
How
as much as I love the UK.
How politically incorrect of me.
It's okay.
From where y'all are from. What I was getting at is any advice you might have for aspiring musicians, young wannabe musicians, young wannabe bass players, or maybe not so young. What advice would you have for those people?
Yeah, I mean, definitely age is not an issue, whether you're younger or older. If you really feel like this is what you want to do, my own journey has just been, I sometimes have to pinch myself because I did not see this coming at all. I just was working full time with animal rights and stuff, and I just went completely the opposite direction and started playing bass. And I really think the best thing I ever personally did was just say yes to a lot of gigs and not be afraid to put yourself out there and gig and go to jam nights, and just being there socially and being, obviously punctuality is a big thing. If you start working, it doesn't matter what age you are, where you're from, whether you're male or female, you got to be on time and know your stuff. And so my advice is, don't be afraid to go and give it a try. What's the worst that can happen? At least you give it a try as opposed to not. Find people locally. If it's, not everyone's going to get on a plane and go to a new city and try it, but even if you're local, just get out to the other towns, the other cities, and play around. Because it's funny, you think when I first got to LA, I thought, my God, this place is so big, I'm never going to know anybody. I was terrified. I didn't know one person. And within 6 months, it was the scene is so small once, and everybody's so wonderful, and, it's just word of mouth after that, and you play around, and then everybody hires each other for gigs, and, it's a giant friendship circle as well.
Sounds like you're saying it takes a certain amount of guts too, huh?
Well, I mean, obviously it's not for the faint-hearted, the music industry, that is for sure, because you're going to take a lot of punches and knocks as well along the way, metaphorical punches, obviously. Not. That's
I hope.
yeah, if anyone's punching you, maybe you should like leave the scenario.
It depends on the venue, I guess. But
Exactly. Depends on the genre.
well, all right. Well, this is great. It's always great catching up with you.
I'm glad I bumped into you in the hall.
I am too. Keep doing what you're doing and keep enjoying it. And I would really like to know if I could have some of your energy, because I could use it.
It's just double espressos, really, and a lot of water and some yoga wakes you up.
There you go. All right.
Yoga and coffee, but not at the same time, because you burn yourself.
Good advice. See, we're getting all kinds of good advice here. From the Warwick and Famous World Headquarters, Markneukirchen, Germany, with Tanya O'Callaghan from Ireland. I'm John Liebman. You're watching for BassPlayersOnly.com.